Have you ever heard about the secret tunnels hiding beneath the charming streets of Paris? They're also known as the Catacombs of Paris. Buckle up, because today we're going on a thrilling journey into the mysterious underworld of this incredible city. So stick around and find out what secrets these tunnels are hiding. And if you're interested in discovering more mysteries like this, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. All right, before we dive headfirst into the mysterious world beneath Paris, let's clear the air about the catacombs. Forget what you've seen in movies. There aren't hordes of zombies beneath the ground. Nope, it's far more fascinating than that. So, back in the 18th century, Paris had to deal with a major issue: overflowing cemeteries. They needed to dispose of millions of bodies somewhere, and fast. They chose a site called the Tombes quarries, abandoned underground tunnels over 3 square miles beneath the city. This whole bone-shuffling gig was led by Charles Axel Guillemot, the guy in charge of relocating the remains of countless Parisians. The excavation started in 1785, primarily from the Saint-Innocent cemetery, which had been collecting bodies for 10 centuries. Imagine a cemetery so crowded that it had to shut its doors. But here's the catch. This bone transfer had to be done quietly. They didn't want to bother anyone by disturbing their loved ones. So, under the cover of night, bones were brought down and arranged neatly in galleries. Work was put on hold during the chaos of the French Revolution, but once things calmed down, they continued their bone relocating mission. Smaller cemeteries in Paris suffered the same fate, adding more skeletons to this underground maze. Officially known as the Paris Municipal Ossuary, it quickly gained a mythical reputation and was known as the Catacombs, inspired by Rome's ancient tunnels. Long story short, Paris needed a bone storage facility because their cemeteries were overflowing. Imagine how terrifying that must have been for the French back then. With millions of restless souls tucked away underground, it's no wonder superstitions thrived. If you think graveyards give you the creeps now, imagine what it was like for the average Parisian back then, surrounded by numerous departed souls, not all of them resting in peace. Back in 1809, this place opened up to the public, and boy, did it become a hot spot. People from France and all over the globe started coming there, and guess what made it even more popular? They started sending some big shots to rest down there, including Napoleon III. Yeah, the relative of the famous Napoleon Bonaparte. But when too many people wanted to visit this place, things got a bit crazy. Sometimes just too many people were showing up, and the authorities had to get involved. They'd either limit the number of visitors or completely shut the place down for months. Imagine being turned away from a gravesite because it's overcrowded. Crazy, right? Nowadays, it's a different story. You can go there anytime you want, at any time of the year. Believe it or not, about 550,000 people make the pilgrimage annually. It's like a rite of passage or something. All right, the history lesson's done. Now, let's talk about the good stuff, the mystery and intrigue about these tunnels in Paris. There's something about this place that keeps drawing people in. It's not just any old cemetery. There's an air of mystery, a sense of something more going on. And hey, who doesn't love a good mystery, right? You wouldn't believe what the cops discovered down there in the catacombs. On August 23rd, 2004, a bunch of officers wandered in and found a whole cinema set up. Yep, underground, in the forbidden parts of this tunnel. Can you imagine the shock on their faces? So these underground sections are off limits to the general public, but some people managed to sneak in. According to Gizmodo, the cops discovered this vast space decked out with lights, phones, and even electricity, all of which were completely jacked. They found a bar, lounge, workshop, dining area, and a mini movie spot. Talk about turning catacombs into a cozy hangout. The real deal? They came across what seemed like a bomb, a metal container with fat and wires. Cue the bomb squad. This is where things start to get creepy. When the cops returned, they discovered a letter that said, "Ne cherchez pas," which translates as "don't search." Creepy, right? Who were these mysterious people? Nobody knew, and when the authorities returned later, most of the items had vanished, leaving everyone confused. It turns out that a group known as the Mexican Consolidated Drilling Authority was behind that underground cinema discovery. Pretty serious stuff, considering they powered their secret spot with stolen electricity and somehow set up shop without anyone noticing. One thing you should know about the catacombs is that they have been a top spot for Parisian people who like to party. The French media says a bunch of people took some music down, along with a lot of booze and some substances that are not legal in the living world. Things went wrong when a 45-year-old man's heart saw too much partying and died. There are other reports of people going missing down there. Then there are these folks called cataphiles, who've been fascinated by the catacombs for ages. Can you blame them? It's the location of the Phantom of the Opera's hideout, where millions of dead rest. But it's not all made up. Real-life events went down there too. Do you guys remember the Communards? Not the 80s pop duo, but a group that assassinated some French monarchists in the tunnels. The catacombs were also used by the French resistance, and the Nazis had their bunker down there. Talk about burying history beneath the streets. Airbnb charged a whopping $300,000 to rent a section of the catacombs for a single night. That's one way to spend your money. Isn't it amazing that beneath the charming streets and historic landmarks of Paris, there's this whole other side to the city? From the hidden catacombs to the mysterious underground world, there's a whole universe underneath Paris. Would you go down in those catacombs? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more cool content.